Hello, welcome back. Today for our creative video we are going to do a microwave bowl cozy. So you'll see how this particular one has really pretty print inside and out. We're going to adapt and utilize one of the panels we have in the store. This particular panel is originally designed to make really stiff bowls. So you would put Peltex in there, and then you would have a multiple shaped, so it would be very rigid. Well, you can't use Peltex in the microwave. So what we're going to be doing here is we have what we call Wrap and Zap, which is basically a batting that is designed to do the cozies. It'll go into the microwave. It's 100% cotton, so it'll do a very nice job for you. So we're kind of adapting this so you get all of the pretty images so we can have some nice new microwave bowls. All right, now this is the small size, so that'll get you kind of an idea. They have small, medium, and large, and they're going to tell you for the actual batting portion, they will tell you the sizing that you need. So basically, if you're doing the large bowl, you're going to do 14 by 14. If you're doing the medium, it is 12 by 12. And if you're doing the small, it's 10 by 10. You'll notice they don't meet the edges. It's designed that way, so you're okay. You haven't done the math wrong. So what's going to happen is we're going to mark our darts, and then we're going to do some free motion quilting to hold all of this together. Because remember, we're not using any fusing agent to hold everything together, so we kind of need to practice a little bit. What's awesome, you can just, I did whip this guy up, and I would say in about 7 minutes. I was done my free motion. So you don't need to spend a lot of time. If you also find that you think, oh, I need to practice my free motion a little bit, I don't feel as comfortable as I feel like I should, perfect project to do this on, because nobody's really ever going to see it. Okay, now how do we transfer the darts? So if I have my camera person kind of come down, you see this guy will have darts. So these are the darts that are going to be very important. You'll notice its mate doesn't have any darts. So we need to kind of transfer that. So basically what I did to make life super simple is I just lined mine right on top of each other. And then I swiped, can you see on the back side? I swiped where the dart was going to end. And then I lifted up and I did a pokey through so I knew where my dart stopped. Don't overthink this. This is supposed to be fun and simple. So then I used my chalk wheel. Okay, I use my chalk wheel, and that way when I'm working with it, I can get things lined up. Now, when you're working with doing the darts, I'm going to show you on this guy. We're going to line this up so you can see how my end of my dart is going to be there. So you see, I just take my chalk wheel, real simple. All right, and then we're going to go and we're going to do that for each dart. If you've never done darts before, there are two legs, what they call legs or sides to the dart. So you're going to do 2 for each. All right, so we just line this up. Now, try to get as accurate as you can. It's a microwave cozy, so I wouldn't spend like your entire life trying to get this mathematically evenly lined up. If it's a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch off, I doubt if your bowl will ever make a comment. All right, now we also want to mark the box. You'll see on the inside section, there's kind of a box there. And this is going to kind of give us a nice little visual as to where to quilt. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. Again, just a rough. Remember, this is inside. Nobody's ever going to see it. Okay. And we're good to go. So you have your darts, but we need to do, again, our free motion first. So it's always good for free motion. Take your pins out. We don't want pins in there. All right, and we're going to come over to my machine. Now, free motion is, Loretta has done a video on basics of free motion techniques. I haven't watched it, only kidding.
Thank you.
She's standing behind the camera. No. All right, what we're going to do is we want to work with a foot that is a basically free motion foot or darning foot. It's going to basically not always put pressure on the fabric. It's going to kind of float up at the top, so again we can do our free motion. Have to have the feed dogs down on your machine. So feed dogs down. If you don't have the ability for the feed dogs down, then simply put your length of stitch to 0, and that will do the same thing. Our goal, remember, we're not going to quilt the dart. I mean, you can quilt the dart, but it's going to be chopped off, so why bother? And this will also give you a really good practice on kind of maneuvering and to doing different things. So we're going to take and we're going to, on one of them, you're going to stitch with the from the right side. It just makes it a little easier. So on this one, I'm going to stitch from the right side so I can again see all of my different maneuvering around. This one, once I draw my box, it's going to be easier to go from this side, because think about it, if you're on this side, it might be, you know, where's your darts? It's going to be harder to see. So you're going to be doing batting side up for one of them and cotton fabric side up for the other. Doesn't matter. Free motion quilting, you can do either way. All right, so when you do free motion quilting, you're basically going to bring my bobbin thread up to the top. Just do a couple of stitches, grab my scissors, and we are good to go. Now, this is such a tiny project, I'm just going to move it backwards and forwards. Am I worried about a particular pattern? No, not really. Because on this print, I defy you to actually be able to see a particular one. So again, if you need to pivot and turn and move it around, all right. So we are just going to kind of move this. All right, so now I'm getting to this point. Which way do I go? Which way do I go? Doesn't really matter. From all of my watching of cartoons as a kid. I'm going to do this particular one next. So I'm just going to move it around. You could pin this if you want to kind of hold everything together. But I just found just flopping it and doing it perfectly fine.
And probably don't want spray.
Oh no, no spray adhesive. I'm not sure what the chemicals would do in your microwave. So please let's not find out. Okay. Now, down that section, I'm going to go over and I'm going to do this section. So pin it, or just think good thoughts. But honestly, you're just doing a little tiny bit. And if you watch Loretta's video, she uses gloves. She can use what they call the sweet spots. So slip. And you'll see you can also do just what I do and just plop that puppy down. But remember, I'm not really going for accuracy here. I'm going for, let's keep it in the box. And all I want to do is just kind of hold this together. Okay, so I started here. I scooted around the corner, did this guy, came back down, did here, and as I was coming, because that's my end goal. So again, it's just a nice way of kind of logically thinking about how you're going to be doing your free motion work. If you were doing this in a print that you would see, you might be able to, hey, practice your ruler work if you wanted to do something like that. But again, right now the goal is to do a bowl cozy, a microwavable bowl cozy. All right, I finish off, tack it off a couple stitches, and we're good to go. And then when you flip it on the other side, you can see how meandering my piece was. So
you can see it there it is.
I tried to do it in a contrast color so you can see what was going on.
Okay.
All right. So get the idea. And you would do that to your second side. And in the land of video, ta-da! Okay. This is the large one. So you can see that this is going to be a pretty big bowl. Hold it with both hands. Okay. So this one, I've already done the darts to it. It's going to have just a really pretty print. So it has your fruits and it has your flowers. So when you do your darts, if you've never done a dart before, let me just show you on this one here. Okay. You're going to take, can you see how there are the two legs? And we are going to put a pin at the end. How do I know it's at the end? I just flip it over in this case and I can see it's at the end. Now remember, you're going to put right sides together, correct? So we line it up, fold it so my ends are together, and I'm basically making a half. And I'm trying to pin it so it shows through to either side. Figured we took the time to mark it, why not use it? Okay? All right, so now at that point, change from your free motion foot. That would be awesome if you guys could do a free motion dart. There you go. So we're going to put everything back to normal, and I line this up, do my reverse. You could do this with a walking foot. I have my dual feed foot on. And then there's my dart. All right, so guess what? We're going to do that 4 more times in this case. I'm going to do it for my large bowl. All righty. So I'm going to take, and just to make things interesting, you'll notice the darts are different. I didn't notice it until I was working with the panel. If you take a look, darts coming to the corner. On the small, darts coming to the corner, out the side, just to jazz it up. So if you think you're going crazy, the answer is no. Not for this. All right, we open it up. That looks pretty darn good to me. All right, So now we're going to go fold our next corner. So again, you're going to have two that the actual darts are at the corners. And then the one middle medium bowl, the dart's going to be at a side. All right. I open it up, take a look-see. Yep, looks good. 2 more times to go. Looks good. And one more. At this point, especially if you're a quilter, you're going to be like, but it's not laying flat anymore. Welcome to darts. That is not supposed to be flat. If it's flat, it's called a hot pad. All right, we're going for something that's going to hold our bowl for us, and we can pick it up. All right, looks good. So now we're going to take and we're going to trim our darts. Trying to reduce the bulk. Trim it to about 1/4 inch. You won't be able to go all the way down, that's fine. If you were doing this for clothing, and if we have any clothing construction people in the group, remember how you would slit, you would cut it, open it up like that? It's a bowl. I don't think they're going to complain that the dart is a little bulky when you get to the tip. All right, so you're going to trim all your extra off. All right, so now look at that, it's starting to stand up.
Beautiful.
Now, we take our right sides together, and we're going to put our other one inside.
Mm-hmm.
Then the key to this is try to get your dart as flat as possible. So we're going to line this up. Now this is, with this particular pattern, they had the 1/2 inch seam for sewing it. So if you're getting the panel and you're doing this, I would recommend doing that 1/2 inch seam. The reason being is, take a look, they kind of give you a 1/2 inch black sew line. All right. You could also do it at 1/4 inch if you wanted to, and then just have that as a decorative edge. Leave that big decision to you. I'm trying to get my darts roughly lined up. Okay. So you see how I'm trying to open them up. Get it lined up. I'm doing this with pins. Do it with a clip. Whatever works for you. Now, the only thing you want to remember, we're not going to stitch all the way around because we spent all this time quilting and we want to have the pretty fabric show, right? So, do yourself a favor, we're going to leave an opening. One of the sides, it really doesn't matter. And how I remember to stop, put a pin perpendicular. So I'm going to start further down, and you'll notice if you paid attention and did your batting measurements the correct size, see how it's not meeting, so it's not going to be in the seam and it's not going to be as bulky. So we're going to stitch across. Left of my foot. We're going to pivot our corner. I do have my dual feed foot on. Say that 5 times fast. I have my dual feet foot on. And I would recommend that if you have that as an option, or definitely if it's too bulky for you, having trouble getting it to go through, a walking foot will also do a nice job. And you can also make sure, if you're having trouble feeding it through, remember the old adage that if you're having trouble feeding the fabric through, don't yank it out the back, simply lengthen your stitch. The machine has no idea of what you want until you tell it. So if you feel you have to tug and pull, and this is true with any sewing situation, if you feel you have to tug and pull, that's the machine's polite way of saying, lengthen your stitch. All right. So, again, we're going to turn the corner. Pam's not going to hit her scissor button. And we're almost there. You don't realize how big the large one is until you stitch around it. This technically would make a good sized pillow. All right, coming around to where I have my pin perpendicular to the edge. So, don't just pull it out and say, I wonder what that pin was doing perpendicular there. Though I've done that too. All right,
That's how we know.
Yeah, that's how we know. All right. At this point, we're good to go. I didn't trim the edge when I did this on the one on the for the top one. I just left the 1/2 inch seam there, and I didn't find any extra bulk. So trim it. If the thought of having a 1/2 inch seam in there, you can trim the corners. But I wouldn't worry about trimming all the way around. Alrighty. So, find my opening. That's not it. There you go. That looks more promising. Put your hand through. So remember, when you leave an opening, please make sure it's more than 1 inch. I've seen beginner students do that. We're not going to hand stitch this closed. We're going to top stitch all the way around. So there is absolutely no point in trying to make your turning around opening delicate. All right. And look at that. That's looking sharp. So that would be a nice big bowl that you can put in the microwave. All right, so basically we're going to take and we're going to then tuck everything in, and again use some clips to hold this closed, or you can pin it. Totally at your discretion what you want to do. I top stitched mine at about 1/4 inch, 3/8. Okay, so you can see, again, it's going to give you the nice close. Trim up any stray threads that I just happened to see. And we're going to line this up. I'm going to use the edge of my foot.
See if I can show that.
Edge of my foot is my guide.
Got it.
Okay, and I am going to lengthen out my stitch. I'm at around 3.5. So when I come to the corner, raise my foot, swing it around. That looks pretty good. If you wanted to press your darts for some reason, you could have done that. But remember, hopefully this is going to get washed a lot. So you're just going to come down. The top stitch around the edge is just a nice way of keeping it all together. But you see how smoothly it's feeding through? That's going to the longer length of stitch. If you were to try to do this at 2.5 in stitch length, you'll probably get mixed results. And we're going for this being pleasant and fun. And I have one more corner to do. All right, I see my start section. I'm gonna do a little reverse. Alrighty, and one little trim, and it's done. There you go. And you see, they're lovely and stackable.
Very nice.
All right, see you next time.